It is the Flow Friday Night Sports Show, and it's time for us now to have a look at Sunraysia Netball. We're going to focus in on, as we always do, the Ouyen United Kangas. And joining me on the line, the head Kangas back, Cailtlin Vine. How are you?
I'm good. Good to be back.
Good to have you back, and good to have you back in the winner's circle as well, where your girls had a very big win over Merbein on Saturday, 55-36. You would have been pleased with that?
Yeah, absolutely stoked to have a couple of wins on the board and just boost a bit of morale. So, yeah, the A-graders just starred comfortably against Merbein on the weekend. It was a great game to watch.
Fantastic. So, obviously, from start to finish, in control, no dramas at all, winning by 19. But how did the rest of the club go? Did they fare okay in other grades?
Yeah, so our B grade also had a win. It was actually a really tight game. I think Ouyen only got up in the last quarter. A really good game to watch. C grade was very tight. I think only a couple of goals in it. And Ouyen played fantastically there with a couple of new shooters on board. And C-Res, I think, went down by about 10, but they played a fantastic team game as well. So smiles all around in the seniors. Not 100% wins, but everyone's moving on up. Our juniors had a really fantastic day. No wins on the board, although the under-11s who don't score told me they won again, so that's always good to hear. But no wins, but just some really consistent play. So Merbein are just so much bigger and stronger in the juniors than us, but we'll get there.
Fair enough. All right. Well, we nearly led with this because we've been talking this up as a possibility for some time. But look, we had to always cover the Kangas fortunes first. But let's move on to my next favourite team, Redcliffs, who've had their foot on the till for so long, these poor girls. They've been almost thereabouts, 20 goals off against some really good sides, always there and thereabouts. But they finally cracked it for an A-grade win. What about this?
Amazing stuff by the Redcliffe girls. As I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, they had a new coach come in, Steph O'Loughlin, who originally was the A-grade shooter for Irimple. She's come in there, and as well as a new netball president, they've shaken things up, and they've just had an amazing win and a great start to the season. So they beat South Mildura by 2 goals. Apparently it was an incredible game to watch. I think the senior footballers were there cheering them on, and it was a bit of a finals atmosphere, which is fantastic.
That is great news. It's good for the comp too. So we generally now have a situation where, look, there's no easy wins in this comp. I know your score, 19 goals, and there's a couple of others that we'll talk about in a minute that are 20-odd goals. But in netball terms, 15 to 20 goals is nothing really. It's 2-3 turnovers a quarter, really, that you've got to eliminate out of your game, and then all of a sudden you're right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for so long we've thought that Redcliffe was an easy 4 points. This is their first A-grade win in, I think, 8 years. Since I think it was 2014 was their last win. So for them to keep rocking up and chipping away and now to get that win, I think they're just going to keep growing from here. So it's really good to see how tight the competition is this year. It's going to make for a very exciting season.
Massive story. Well done to Redcliffs. If this had been a footy team that hadn't won a game in, 8 or 9 years, it'd be front page news in all the local papers. We need to put it up in lights because you're exactly right. These girls have just slogged away for nearly a decade without having tasted any success whatsoever. They finally get a win, and it must have felt like a premiership win, I'm sure, for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good on them. Let's look at the other results. Irimple, boy, did they give Mildura a bit of a touch-up. This was 23 goals the difference, 50 to 27. Very good performance from Irimple. They're right around the money.
Yeah, for sure. Lots of interesting stuff ahead. We look to play the Irimple this weekend, so it's going to be interesting to see how they tough up and what their team looks like this year.
All right. And the other result from last weekend in the A grade, only 12 goals in this, Imperials and Robinvale Euston, who we probably don't expect will be there finals time, but Imperials might be. Robinvale Euston only going down by 12 goals. That's probably about a par performance, you'd say.
Yeah, definitely. Just keeping steady, Robinvale. Nothing too exciting just yet, but good to see Imperials get a win there, it'll keep the top 4 pretty tight.
Yep. All right. Let's move to this round of matches, round 4, and let's have a look, first of all, at the Ouyen United Kangas. So Irimple, it's a strong club. You're at home this week at Underbull, I believe.
Yeah, really exciting to get out to our Underbull court. We love playing out there, and against Irimple, who are a tough competitor. It's going to be a fantastic weekend.
All right. So how are your girls shaping up? First of all, any COVID stuff that we need to worry about?
No, not that I'm aware of. Fingers and toes crossed that nothing pops up tonight before the game tomorrow, but so far so good. I think we've got all of our players in and ready and raring to go. The girls trained really well on Thursday night. We're looking really strong heading into the weekend.
Right. Well, that's first of all, that's good news. Second of all, Irimple, they're a good team. They're there and thereabouts for the last couple of years. How do you go about knocking these girls off? What are their strengths?
Yeah, they're fit and fast, and that goes all the way down their senior side. I know that their C grade goalie is a veteran, and she is the speediest, harder person I've ever had to play on. So it's going to be a tough week, I think, for everyone A down. But last time I checked, they don't have a lot of height, so hopefully that'll work in our favour. We've got some decent height in our defence and our attack in A grade, and in our B grade as well. So let's hope that we can sort of just jump over them a little bit and get the win.
Fair enough. All right, let's get to your tips on some of the other games. First of all, how about this? Redcliffe's maybe 2 in a row. They go to Robinvale Euston this week, and you wouldn't tip against them.
Yeah, I think they're going to be on a high, and I think they'll just keep smashing. I reckon Redcliffe will get the win.
Absolutely. How good would that be? Mildura, they'll be looking to bounce back against Imperials at home, but I got to say, I think the Imperials will probably win that one.
Yeah, tough to say, but Imperials seem to be sort of getting that run on now, so I agree. I think Imps will get up.
South Mildura have the bye. They're still licking their wounds after going down to Redcliffe's last week. But last match of the round to talk about Wentworth and Merbeen, and you could not make a case for Merbeen here. They'll head to Wentworth, and those girls are very strong.
Yeah, for sure. I think Merbeen's key goaler was out last week with COVID, which did make a little bit of a difference to our score, I think. But they still had quite strong juniors that stepped up. But, yeah, Wentworth are just going to be way too strong, I think, to them at this point in the competition. But hopefully someone can match them soon.
Hopefully that someone is the Ouyen United Kangas when the time comes.
Fingers crossed.
But that's where we'll leave it. Anything else to mention before we wrap it up?
No, just really exciting to see how the season's coming out, and looking forward to catching up again next week with hopefully some more excitement.
Good stuff. Go Kangas. We'll catch you next week, Cailtlin.
Thanks.